Crazy news in the MMA world.
It's probably been the wildest 48 hours in UFC / MMA.
I know.
Not history, but for a long time. We've gone from... The Abu Dhabi card was massive anyway. You had Islam versus Charles. You had Khamzat versus Costa. There's been 2 major dropouts in the last 48 hours, which put the card in massive jeopardy. So we'll start with the first one. I think it was... I woke up on Wednesday morning. I seen on Instagram straight away that Charles Oliveira had been cut. And the UFC did exactly what the UFC does. There wasn't even Oliveira's out. We're looking for a replacement. It's Oliveira's out. Volkanovski's in.
Mental, man. 11
days notice. So now the new main event is Islam versus Volk 2. Complete switch of what it was in February or January, whenever they fought. It was in Australia last time, in Volk's home city, hometown. Now it's in Abu Dhabi, which is as good as Islam's hometown. The reception he has there. And we need to get... I hope they got wheelbarrows in Abu Dhabi for Volk's nuts, because the guy is fucking mental.
Mate, it's mad how the UFC, they get problems come to them, and the solutions are better than the original situation. Like, this is... For me, this card has just got, like, 10 times better.
Way better. And you got to give credit. Love 08 Dana and Hunter and all them. If this happened in boxing... So imagine this was Ryan Garcia now versus Tank Davis. Yeah. Imagine Ryan Garcia pulled out on 11 days' notice. The card would either be off or they just pull in some unknown.
They'd never get a big
They wouldn't want to risk the payday of the next fight not being there. They never get like a Devin Haney or a Lomachenko or someone to step in. But that's what the UFC does. And that is we talk about pay and stuff like that. Yeah, things could be better in certain areas, but that's the benefit of having all the best in the world and the one roster, is that you want to step in and fight. And I'd love to know what they're paying Volk to do it, but the guy's a beast, isn't he? He's just got no fear.
Nah, absolutely. It's mad. And for me, like, there's a massive risk for him because he's already fought him once and lost. So, like, even though it's short notice, usually there's a bit of a thing around short notice. When they take that fight, they usually get offered a rematch if it goes reasonably well. Yeah. But because he's already fought him, it's like, will he get that option if he does lose?
Yeah, the thing is as well, like, obviously for the last camp, I know that it was a very, like, long, specific camp for Islam, which is gotta be at a guy at that. Like, they brought in Dagestani wrestlers, Chechnyan wrestlers, you know, probably done an 8 to 10 week training camp. They worked on putting a lot of muscle on him to make sure he was bigger at the weight. Obviously he's had surgery 3 months ago, so he's probably only been back training a couple of weeks. And yeah, just must just be that confident from the last time that he can have the making of him. But you know what? He's got nothing to lose. Like you said, the only thing he has got to lose is obviously the last fight was so close. If they did do a build up to the next one, you know, he'd want to have a full prep. But at the same time, he's fighting actively at featherweight. So if he picks up a loss at featherweight and loses a belt, he's not going to get a chance to go up and fight Islam then. So he's kind of got nothing to lose and got all to gain. If he loses, everyone will be like, well, you know, he stepped up a weight on 11 days' notice. If he wins, he probably jumps to number 1 on the pound-for-pound list. I know he's number 2 now, so he don't take a lot, but he probably overtakes John Jones for me, to be honest.
It wouldn't surprise me as well, like, if he gets that win, whether or not they would give Islam to run it back, because in a lot of people's eyes, he won the first fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he won the first fight. I think it was close. I think me included got carried away on the night of, look how strong he finished. He finished bombing Islam from guard, which he did. But I think I've gone back and watched the fight twice with no commentary, because the commentary was a little bit biased towards Volk. I have gone back and watched it twice, and I thought Islam won 3 of the 5 rounds. But regardless, take that. Let's not even harp on about that. Like, it was a very close fight, and it was a fight that everyone sort of thought Islam would smoke him in. And like, he embodies, doesn't he, Volk? He literally embodies at anyone, anyway, anytime.
Yeah,
motto. Like a lot of people talk about it, but that guy just, you know, like, Islam's the best in the world apart from John Jones. You know, he's the toughest fight in the division for anyone, stylistically. And you go in there underprepared against him, it could be a long night, but it's just something about Volk that you just get that feeling that it doesn't matter who he goes in with, whether it be Islam, whether it be Tapore, Max Holloway, whether it even be someone like Justin Gaethje or Charles, you just get the feeling that it doesn't matter who he's in there with, he's going to make a fight of it, and he's got every chance of winning the fight. Like, let's be realistic. Anyone else in the lightweight division would have to fight. So say like Gaethje or Poirier or someone stepped in to fight Islam on 11 days' notice, we'd be writing them off straight away, wouldn't we? Be like, fair play to him. But
do you reckon they got the call as well?
Yeah, I seen Islam say Gaethje got the call. but he couldn't make the weight, and they obviously didn't want to do a catch weight. They wanted to be a title fight. I suppose
that's the thing when they're actually 155ers.
Yeah, Poirier's coming off a loss. Gamrot's been shit on a little bit because Gamrot's there's the backup fighter and didn't even get a chance to step in. But let's be honest, how much bigger of a fight is it with Volk? And like, what the point I was making is, anyone else jumps in there 11 days notice, you almost feel like they got no chance. Whereas with Volk, like, I genuinely believe he can go in there and pull it off and make a fight of it, because.
And you want him to now. Well, I don't know about you. I want him to now.
I do. 100%. And, you know, Islam have trained for. I know Volk haven't trained at all, but Islam have trained for a completely different style of fight there to Volkanovski. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because, like you said, for me, card's 10 times. The main event is 10 times bigger than what it was. Probably should have been the main event in the first place, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. And now the co-main. I mean, like, to get hit with that one news that Volk stepping in, and then literally within, 12 or 24 hours, then get the news that Usman's going to be fighting Chimaev instead.
Yeah, the Costa thing was mad, because he went on Ariel Helwani and said that he basically announced about the staff. And I think the reason he went public, a lot of people saying, why did he announce it? I think the reason he went public with the staff is because I think UFC were trying to pull this fight a couple of days ago, from what I can make of it. From what I can make of his interview, I think they were trying to pull it because he's had surgery 3 weeks ago. So I think he's gone public with it in the hope that the UFC would let him stay in and fight. But obviously they say he has to come out and have another surgery, which you get. You don't want a guy going in with a fucking infected arm. So that fight fell through, and it was kind of like, well, Khamzat's not going to get anyone decent on a couple of days' notice. There was whispers of Robert Whittaker. There was whispers of Strickland even. Now, you could believe that, couldn't you? You could believe that.
Imagine how mental that would have been.
You could believe Strickland going in there. Just don't know if he would do 185 on that time notice. But then for them to pull Usman out the bag, and it's funny because this is obviously Khamzat's first fight at middleweight. So you've got the number 4 ranked welterweight in Khamzat versus the number 1 ranked welterweight in Usman are going to fight at middleweight, and Dana said the winner is going to get a title shot.
Yeah. I don't even know how to look at that fight as far as, like, who's going to win, because stylistically it's a tough fight for both fighters, isn't it?
I think stylistically Usman's a tough matchup for anyone who's going to come and try and wrestle, but I do think Khamzat's the better striker. I think Khamzat's the more powerful striker. But I think Usman is the more technical fighter. It'll be interesting to see if Khamzat comes and wrestles, because if he puts Usman on his back, I think Usman's been took down once in his career by Colby.
Yeah.
And even that was like a mat turn. It wasn't like a clean takedown. If he can come out, and it's only a 3-rounder as well, like Usman's been fighting 5 rounds for fucking the last 6-7 years. So if he can come out like a bull in a china shop, he hasn't fought for a year, it comes out, he looks massive. He's a proper middleweight, you know what I mean? Usman is a welterweight that's just taking a fight on short notice. And I
swear they've done that on the poster as well. Can you see, like, I swear they've made Usman look really small on the poster, like.
But honestly, I think if Khamzat comes out and takes Usman down, like, what a statement in itself. Do you know what I mean? If he can put Usman on his back, he can put most people on his back. And
predictions for that one? Who do you think?
True. I'm all. We said this about a year ago. I'm all aboard the Khamzat hype train. I think I believe Khamzat could be welterweight, middleweight, maybe even like heavyweight champion if he wanted to. I think he's that good.
Yeah, I think especially if he can take Usman, because that's a stepping stone into any championship fight then, isn't it?
And if he beats Usman, I mean, your Stricklands and your Izzies and stuff, they're going to start to panic then, aren't they, in terms of wrestling. Like, especially if he can beat Usman in terms of take him down or submit him or take him down and dominate him. But fucking all credit to Usman for jumping in there and taking it on, again, 11 days notice. We don't know how much he's been training, didn't have a fight scheduled. He fought back in March, so again, must be a massive payday for him. I know he's been doing a bit of a European tour, but what a fight.
I wonder who else they phoned for that as well. Do you know what I mean? It's interesting, isn't it?
I'm guessing they phoned Whittaker, because I seen talks of that. I bet they tried their luck with Strickland. But, you don't blame them for not taking it on 10 days' notice. And, like you said, for 2 short notice fights, they're probably bigger than the originals. But, I'm going Khamzat. I think Khamzat will do it, especially with the time frame. But not counting Usman out, he's very, very good. And it'll just be interesting to see how he's going to be coming off too. We're in a Peter Yan situation as well with Usman, because if he loses this one, he's gone from being the best welterweight ever to losing 3 fights in a row. Like, where does that leave him then? You know what I mean? It's a big risk fight for him, but again, probably got it all to gain and nothing to lose, because
I don't think anyone's going to look down on him
if
for
he
taking
loses,
this fight.
it's all well. You jumped in with one of the most fucking dangerous guys up a weight on 10 days' notice. If he wins, he's coming off 2 losses, close losses. Well, not close losses. Leon Edwards chinned him and then obviously beat him on decision, but they were good fights. You're coming off 2 close losses. You have 1 fight and you're fighting for the middleweight belt. So good on him.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. What a way to start the week, anyway, isn't it?
And then to top it off, we have more news last night that USADA's not working with the UFC no more.
Oh yeah, well, how has that even happened? Do you think that's anything to do with the McGregor thing?
So I had a little read of the statement they put out this morning, and it looks as if. So basically, USADA like a independent contractor. So UFC pay USADA to do the drug testing for them, and it basically looks like obviously their standard is, once you submit your paperwork and go back into the testing pool, you've then got to do 6 months in the testing pool. I think it's so you got to do 6 months with 2 clean tests, or you've got to have maybe 2 clean tests and then you can fight. I don't know how it works. I'm guessing it's got to be 6 months with 2 clean tests. From what I can make of it, the UFC pushed back and said that, well, if he's in the testing pool and he's clean, he should be able to fight sooner. So that's from what I can make of it. And USADA have pushed back and they're like, no, that's not how we work. Their contract was up on the 31st of December anyway, and I think they're going to renew, but it looks like now they're not going to renew. So I don't know where that leaves.
McGregor Chandler February or something.
Yeah,
January,
to me, if I had to guess, he's in camp now. If I had to put money on, I'd say he's probably looking more so like a January, because you work it out. He's just gone in the pool now. We're in October. January will be 3 months' time. If they waited till April, which was UFC 300, that would have been 6 months. But my guess would be McGregor hasn't fought for a while. He's pushing. He wants to fight January, and then they want him to probably want him to headline UFC 300. I'm guessing. So for him to do that in April, he's going to need to fight December or January to be able to go into another camp. So it looks like McGregor's just kind of like, it was me or USADA, and the UFC are like, right, buy USADA.
Yeah, USADA's costing me money. McGregor's making us money.
And but what you got to remember is, so Jeff Nowitzki, who's kind of like the main USADA, he doesn't work for USADA. He works for UFC. So he works for UFC. He's employed by the UFC. So I'm guessing they'll try and bring in their own kind of drug testing, or I don't think there's another real company. VADA is kind of USADA, unless they're going to use them. There'll be different rule unless they just scrap the drug testing altogether and go back to the old days. But I don't know.
I don't think they'll do that.
I think they've got to have some sort of drug testing in place, otherwise they're going to catch a lot of slack. But it'd be interesting to see what they can do, because they haven't got long. They got 2 months, and USADA will be gone. It's like 2 months is not long to put that type of procedure together. Like, it's a detailed procedure that you have to have.
Could you imagine now this scenario? Volk beats Islam, McGregor beats Chandler, and then McGregor versus Volk.
It's massive, isn't it?
Like, could you imagine that?
Imagine Islam versus Islam wins now. McGregor beats Chandler. If he beats Chandler, they're putting him in for the title shot. Or do they put him and Gaethje on for the BMF title?
Yeah, either way, it's all big fights coming, isn't it?
But if I was Gaethje, I'd be gutted that McGregor's coming back, because he's only got a pinch of win against Chandler, and he's straight in the title picture. It's Conor McGregor. It's just how it works with him. Especially, I know he hasn't won a MMA fight since 2020, but it doesn't work like that when your name's Conor McGregor. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Gaethje's kind of next, but the lightweight division is fucking up in arms at the minute, because if Islam wins, you've got Oliveira there as the number 1 contender. You've got Gaethje then, who was meant to be the number 1 contender for these two. You've got McGregor floating in the background. But what happens if Volk wins? They're probably gonna do Islam. They're gonna do a trilogy, aren't they? Like, they'd be stupid not to. That's the biggest fight they can do in the UFC. If Volk beats Islam now and it's 1-1, you've got to do the trilogy. So then you're gonna probably have to do Charlie against Gaethje, or Gaethje against McGregor, or Charles against McGregor, providing he beats Chandler. If Chandler beats McGregor, then Chandler's straight in the mix. So the lightweight division's all over the shop at the minute. It's
they need a tournament, don't they? Imagine they had a lightweight tournament.
One night
UFC.
tournament, like, that'd be class.
Mental.
UFC 300 would be the one to do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely still like the biggest division in the UFC, isn't it?
And it has been for years, isn't it? But yeah, mad couple of hours, people. We fought we thought we'd call an emergency breakdown in because, you know, like 48 hours and we've been 3 major bits of news and there's still time. You know,
that's it, innit? We had to get you there. We had to bring it.
Yeah.
We speak about it.
This is what we do for you lot, look.
That's it, innit?
What's the time?
This is short notice for us, all right?
7:30 a.m. in the morning, before training, before Joe goes to work.
That's it.
We're like, we got to get in there and break it down for the boys and girls watching.
Committed.
Let us know in the comments who you picking. Volk or Islam, Costa or Usman, and McGregor or USADA. Which one you picking, people? Thank you for watching. Obviously, like, share, subscribe. We look forward to the fights next weekend. And yeah, I think that's a wrap, Joe.
That's it.
We'll be back to break down the results of this mad card that's cropped up out of nowhere.
Quick fire. Dylan or Logan?
Oh. Fuck it, Dylan.
Dylan, yeah. I want Dylan to win.
I think Logan will win. I think Logan will win, but I want Dylan to win, so I'm just going to go with Dylan. But Logan's a more athletic, bigger guy, probably the bigger puncher. Whether he gasses out or not, whether he goes in there charged up on substance, like he looked like he was on at the press conference. We'll see what happens. We'll see how hard he's actually been training. But he's the better athlete, isn't he? And but I think people might be surprised at not Dylan's skill. I don't think his boxing skill is very good at all. But I think he'll be a little bit tougher than what people think. I don't think he'll go in there and roll over.
And we haven't seen him either, have we?
We haven't seen him.
I don't have a clue what he can do.
We haven't seen a lot of Logan, but we've seen even less of Dylan. So
Yeah.
we'll see what's on. He's been very quiet with his training online. He hasn't posted a lot. So that even means one or two things. He's either not trained or he's just not giving a lot away. But we'll see what happens. That's this weekend. Maybe we'll do a little breakdown on that next week as well.
Boom.